Hello, I'm Mel and this is my channel Knit, Stitch, Grow. I'm here today to do a bit of a show and tell and this is for the stitch part of my channel. So far I haven't put much of my sewing up because it's been a bit of a bumpy ride, to be honest. I started off sewing some things, sewing away, and then I had a few things that didn't work out. My confidence, kind of just lost all my confidence. But this year I've kind of gone back to basics, started again effectively, and so I wanted to show some of the wins, some of the sewing wins, because I think it's very easy when you've had kind of sewing projects that don't work out. It can really knock your confidence. And then for me, I was just like, oh, I can't do it anymore. I'm rubbish. I can't sew. You know, just went into a bit of a huff. So I was making tops. And the very first top, actually, I'll show you the very first top that I made, which was in the end of 2021, off the back of this book coming out, which is The Art of Sewing by Sonia Phillips. So at the time I was on Instagram and I was following Sonia, and I loved what she was making, and so when her book came out I bought it, and the very first thing I made from it was the top pattern. So it's a grown on sleeve pattern woven t-shirt. And this is the very first top that I made in 2021, and I was very pleased with myself because I made my own bias binding for the inside, and you know, managed to get it kind of seamed up and everything. And I love this fabric. This was from, I think this was a Mind the Maker one at the time, but I just loved all the kind of splashy print. So that was my first success back in 2021, and I was really pleased with that. At the time I didn't have a lot of kind of spare time because I was also, as well as working full-time, I was doing a part-time course. So I was just kind of doing it very sporadically, just trying to learn how to use a sewing machine, how to sew. So I was really made up when I got that top done. I thought it was great, so that kind of boosted my confidence. I was like, right, what can I make next? So then the indigo dress pattern, well, top and dress pattern from Tilly and the Buttons was the next thing that I tried. When did I do that? I've got my notes here. Yeah, that was in 2022. I made this May 2022, and it's made out of just a really kind of thin cotton material that I got from a local haberdashery, local to me in East Lothian. And I was really pleased with this again, and it's a kind of, it's not full length, it's kind of just below the knee summer dress. But what I found with this pattern was that the arms kind of came on my body, like were on my body, was actually quite tight under my armpits. So I just relaxed some of the seam allowance and got it to work. But so I do wear this, and I was pleased when I made it, but it's one of those pieces that I'm, in retrospect now, I realise I don't wear dresses. I love it when people make dresses and then you see people's dresses on like YouTube, but in reality I don't really wear dresses. They always make me feel like I'm super dressed up, so I tend to wear trousers even if I'm going out. I mean, if it's a super formal occasion or a super special occasion like a wedding or something like that, then I might wear a dress, but I'm more likely to wear a jumpsuit. Anyway, so this was a dress that I'd made, and again I was pleased with it, but one that I don't actually in reality wear that much since I've made it. So off the back of making the indigo top, I then went ahead and made a Love Notions top, which I think it's the Harmony blouse, which looked lovely, and I was really pleased with how it looked. But when I actually came to try it on, it was massive, and you won't be able to see because of the material, maybe you can, but it has bust darts in it, and the bust darts were far too low for me. But I only realised that once I'd made it, because the Tilly in the Buttons dress has bust darts, but luckily they just they were more or less in the right place for me. So I didn't even think about having to adjust it. But with this one, the bust darts were far too low. And you'll also see that I've taken the sleeves off. I was really disappointed too, because I love the look of flutter sleeves. And so this is the kind of sleeve taken off, and I'd done a rolled hem on the bottom of the sleeve, and I thought it was going to look gorgeous. But the combination of a top that's too big, that has the bust darts in the wrong place, and also has mahoosive flutter sleeves, just all led to me feeling very deflated and very much like, what have I done wrong? So that one really knocked my confidence, because I got frustrated that I didn't really know how to fix. I think with that pattern, I either need to, in hindsight, again, this is a couple of years later, and in hindsight, I would either need to do a small bust adjustment, or try a smaller size, or try to move the bust darts. So they're all things now that I know that I could have done. But at the time, I was just like, I don't have the headspace or the time to even think about how to fix this. And I kind of felt like, do I even want to fix it? Do I love the pattern enough to spend that much time working on it? So that kind of put a bit of a dent in my confidence. And it also I lost a bit of interest as well. I was like, oh, well. And my mind, because I've got quite a good imagination, I was thinking about all of these things that I could make, and I was feeling a bit like, oh, now I can't make any of them, because I can't even make like a simple top. So my confidence really did take a dent. And yeah, so eventually and also at this time, I still had my course going on outside of full-time work, and that was just taking up a lot of negative headspace as well. So eventually I decided to quit my course. And that was kind of at the end of 2023. And so come January 2024, I had a bit more headspace, because I wasn't having to worry about my course. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put some time in now to thinking about what I want to sew, learning what I need to learn in order to improve my skills. And so I decided to eat a bit of humble pie and just be like, you just have to go back to basics, Mel. You just have to take it right back to basics. You don't need bust darts. Look for top patterns which don't have bust darts, and start from there. So that's what I did. So I've just got my notes here. I'm just trying to look when I did this. Yeah, so in January of 2024, I made this. And this is the Be Mine balloon sleeve top by Pattern Emporium. And I'd bought this fabric from Rainbow Fabrics. And I love the colour. The colour of it is so beautiful. Now, the only thing about this, I think it's some kind of, it's like a tencel viscose, maybe? It's got a slight sheen to it and a slight slubbiness. So it might even be a linen tencel, or it's a strange mix of something, but it's actually quite sheer. So it's not one that I would wear as it is. I'd have to wear like a vest top or something underneath. But I made this and I just thought, wow, it doesn't have any bust darts, but it's got these beautiful sleeves, these beautiful balloon sleeves, which are just so pretty in this lilac. And it has a gorgeous neck, and you can, in the pattern there's a seam that runs down the front, but you can omit that if you want. So I omitted it for this, but it does have a seam down the back with a wee keyhole. I've still to put a button on it, but so that's the back. And there's quite a few different hemline versions that you can do. I just did a simple turn up because I wasn't entirely sure whether I would actually wear this. So for now I've just kind of kept it as it is, but you can have like an interfaced deep hem. You can put a deep hem with an elastic, thick elastic band in the bottom, so it kind of gathers in, which looks cool. So there's quite a few different, and there's different necklines as well. This is the medium neckline, but there's also one that goes lower, and there's also one that goes slightly higher as well. So making this after I'd had the disappointment with that other top was just so good. It just felt like such a good win because it's so beautiful. And the Pattern Emporium patterns are just have such good detail, such good instructions, yeah, so that was a good win for the start of the year, and I definitely want to make this again with the slightly higher neckline, and in, yeah, I don't know what fabric yet, but I definitely want to make another one of these. And so after that win, I was looking for other woven t-shirt patterns, if you like, because I go into my work 2 times a week. That's what we have to be in the office for. I work from home the other time, but I'm in the office 2 days, and I was aware that after working from home over the whole of lockdown, having to go back into the office, I was really needing clothes to wear in the office. So I thought, well, if I can find a woven t-shirt pattern, and then make a few of those in nice fabric, then I've got tops for work. So I think it was, well, actually that's the other one. Yeah, so this is, I'll go back to that. So this is the I Am Blandine pattern from I Am Patterns, and it's a free woven t-shirt pattern, and it's great because I really like I Am patterns, and I'd bought the I Am Marty, which is a kind of shirt, collared shirt, collarless shirt, shirt dress, and as you know, with I Am patterns, they have a gazillion different variations. So I think there's about 60 different variations you can make of this shirt dress at various lengths and different sleeves and all that. So I'd bought that pattern, and while I was looking on their website, I noticed they had a free t-shirt pattern, free woven top pattern. And this is it, I Am Blandine. So I made this. It's got a wee cuff, and it's got a boat neck that you finish off. Now, I didn't realise that because I'd done the top, the Sonia Phillips top, I thought that this bias binding would be completely folded over so that you wouldn't see it. But the way they have you do it, it's actually like a kind of half turn. But that's fine, because I managed to find this binding in our local haberdashery shop, and I thought it went fine with this. So this was my, it's like boxy t-shirt pattern, and I've made it long enough so that I can tuck it into trousers and things. And this fabric is an Eco Vero fabric from Fabric Godmother, which I'd originally bought to make the Carmel jumpsuit from Nina Lee. But when it came, it was a bit, I wasn't entirely happy with the pink. I wasn't sure that the pink was really me. And also I didn't know whether I could handle a whole jumpsuit made out of this. But for a top for work, I actually think this worked out really well. And I've worn it several times into work, and it's great, especially kind of during the summer. And it's got this wee turn up cuff that you attach from the inside and then turn out, and then it doesn't say to stitch it down, but I thought it would just start falling down if I didn't do that, so I added a bit of top stitching to the top to make it stay cuff-like. And also with this one, because it was a basic tee, I decided, and also because of the fabric, it's quite, I mean, it's sturdy, but it's quite thin. The fold line were doing their sewing weekender. Now, when was that? Because when did I make this? I'm just looking at this. Yeah, I actually made this in June. So I think their sewing weekender was maybe sometime in June. Anyway, one of the talks on the sewing weekender was by a lady who does couture clothing. And she was talking about all the different ways that couturiers finish their seams, which was just really, really amazing. But anyway, she was mentioning about French seams. And so I thought, do you know what? Because this is a fairly simple make, I'm going to try to do French seams. So I actually did French seams on this one as well, which worked out quite well. So that was another win, where it was like, this is a simple top, but it does have some, you know, some elements like the folded out cuff and the bias binding that just make it a little bit more time consuming. But ultimately I was really happy with the way that one turned out. So off the back of that, I was looking to just see if there were any other free woven t-shirt patterns that were available, and it was one of the other vloggers that I watch. I need to find out the name. Her name's Sarah, and she's an Australian lady, and she was going through her makes, and she mentioned about the Agustina top from from fibre.com. Fibre.com, is that right? Anyway, I'll put all of the details like below in the description box. But anyway, fabricstore.com. That's who it is. So she had mentioned the Agustina top, and I thought, oh, okay, it's a boxy top. It looks a bit like I Am Blandine, but if it's another free top, maybe, you know, there'll be different techniques or something that they use. So I checked it out, and so that was my next make. And this is the Agustina top, and I made this in a lovely kind of tobacco coloured double gauze that I got from Fabric Godmother as well. And the difference with this one is that they have a different method for bias binding the neck, where you can't, all of the bias binding is inside, and they have a really nice technique for attaching it actually, which is a little bit easier than how you usually, or how I've done it before. So I really like the technique for that. And there are cuffs on this one too, but you attach them just the whole cuff from the inside. So the cuff just sits off the grown on sleeve basically. So this was, I was really pleased. Again, it's a boxy tee, and this one is actually wider than I Am Blandine. But it makes a really nice, and it has a more of a crew neck than the more of the boat tee that's on I Am Blandine. So similar, but enough slight differences to make it interesting. So again, that's another win. You know, it's a nice simple t-shirt top that I wore over the summer. And with it being double gauze, it's like super breathable, but also, you know, it has a little bit of heft to it as well. So I loved that one, and it's just such a beautiful colour. But what I realised when wearing this, and also when wearing the I Am Blandine, is that as I was wearing it, the t-shirt would pull back. So it would end up kind of nearer my neck as the kind of day went on, and I would always have to kind of pull it down. So I was looking into that, and it looked like I needed a forward shoulder adjustment. So I then did a little bit of looking into how I would do that, and it was actually So Liberated have different workbooks, and they'd released a course which was all about doing their hinterland top. And I didn't buy the course, but because I signed up to the newsletter, they released a little bit of the course, and it was all about how to do fitting of a bodice. And in that was how to do a forward shoulder adjustment. So I followed that, and I made another Agustina top, but I did a forward shoulder adjustment on it. So basically, I worked out that I had about 1 centimetre, my top was kind of falling back about 1 centimetre, so I added 1 centimetre to the back of the pattern, took out 1 centimetre from the front of the pattern, just on the seam, and that's your forward shoulder adjustment. And it made such a difference. Now this top is basically, I made it longer, a lot longer than the other Agustina top, because what I wanted was something to wear in bed. So effectively just a long t-shirt to wear in bed. And this is I think this is a Mind the Maker. Now this isn't a woven fabric. This has got a ever so slight stretch to it. And when I looked back at when I bought it, it actually said it was a jersey. So then I was like, oh, okay. Here's another challenge for me, because I haven't really done much sewing with jersey. And that was another fail. So I'd actually, my husband had bought me the Tilly and the Buttons knicker pattern that came out a couple of years ago. The Iris knickers? I think that's what it's called. So he'd bought me that for Christmas. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to have a go at making my own knickers. And then just couldn't get it's no problem with my machine. I just couldn't work out the best stitches to use for the jersey fabric that I'd bought. And I just got frustrated. I just didn't have the headspace at the time to do what I wanted to do, basically. So anyway, that was another, so I'd had a fail with kind of knit fabrics as well. So I thought, okay, I know that I can do the pattern, so let's just try and do the pattern in this not very stretchy jersey fabric and see how we get on. So I was trying to coax myself into doing this jersey pattern, and I did it. So I did the lightning stitch, used a lightning stitch around here and added some see-through elastic at the top to help keep the shoulders integrated. And then for this one I didn't add on the cuff, because I thought I don't need a cuff if I'm only going to wear it in bed. But what I did, the other change that I made to this pattern, was I actually changed the shape of the underside of the sleeve, because the one that I'd done previously, I don't know if you can see that, but oh, that's really bad, you can't see me now, there we go. I need to get some, it's just all of a sudden gone very dark outside, and I'm kind of going to fight the light now. But anyway, this has a very small sleeve bit, like a little kind of curve for the grown on sleeve, and it was actually a bit tricky to sew. But I liked the curve that was on the I Am Blandine, so I also adjusted the Agustina pattern to have the same curve under the sleeve as the I Am Blandine. So on this one I'd done the forward shoulder adjustment, I'd adjusted the curvature of the sleeve, and I was really happy with how it turned out. I think this is a Mind the Maker jersey. Again, like all of these fabrics are kind of, I bought maybe 2 or 3 years ago, so it's very unlikely they're still in stock anywhere, but I'll list the kind of fabric shops below. Just, I mean, they're all ones that you'll know anyway, but I'll put details below so that you can see what I've been talking about. So I was really pleased with this because I was like, okay, I've not only adjusted a pattern to do the forward shoulder and to do the sleeve, but I've also worked with jersey fabric and I've got it to work. And, you know, I adapted the pattern. I added on, I think this ended up being about 80 centimetres length. So I must have added on a good, 10 inches or something to the pattern. So, yeah, I was really pleased with this. I felt like this was a real kind of modifying something to make it how I wanted it to be. So that was a good win. And then as I just tackled jersey on that one, I had also a while ago bought the Ebony top pattern from Closet Core, and I'd also, in one of the Rainbow Fabric sales, I'd got this kind of viscose jersey really for a really good price. I think I'd got like 3 meters for £15 or something. And so I made the Ebony top. Now you'll notice I haven't finished the hems on this one, because when I tried it on, it's such a beautiful shape. It's a really, really beautiful shape. But I bought it when I used to wear skinny jeans, and so that kind of like long tunic kind of waterfall back looks beautiful with like skinny jeans and leggings, but I don't really wear those anymore. I've kind of, I don't wear skinny jeans anymore. So when I tried it on, I thought, oh gosh, it's not actually going to go with the trousers that I wear. So what I did was I cut it off so that the whole thing is about hip length. And so that's why it's not hemmed or anything yet, because I was still trying to decide, you know, would I wear it at that length, or would I be better kind of looking for another pattern? But it's such a beautiful shape. If you're looking for kind of a trapeze shaped t-shirt, and the instructions for this were great, and I managed to get the neckband in fine. You know, it all went really well. So I was really pleased, and this kind of got me over my fear of knitted fabric as well. So that was another win, even though I wasn't entirely sure whether the style was still a style that I wanted to wear. I think having it at a cropped length definitely makes it more wearable for me, but that's why I haven't finished it off yet, because I wasn't entirely sure about it. But it fits lovely, and the fabric is great just to try these things out with as well. So that was quite a lot of wins, and I think when I actually looked back over the year at what I'd made, I was actually quite surprised at how much stuff I'd made, and I just felt really pleased with myself, and just a bit like, okay, I'm really glad that I just went back to basics and kind of, you know, had a bit of a talk to myself and was just like, look, you can make tops, make tops and just see where it goes. And I feel like there's been a bit of an evolution, you know, through my sewing now. And I feel like I've got a bit more confidence back, which is great. And actually the one that I haven't spoken to you about is this one, which is the Garnet top, made by Ray, and I think this is my favourite. It's a beautiful square neck, wide tunic type top, and it has these beautiful fold over details on the sleeves, and also, let's just pop this down, yeah, and also at the bottom there. And I love this. I made this back in July to go to a family event. It's kind of like a day event. And yeah, I was really pleased. And I loved how this one turned out. So I definitely would make more of these as well going forward. But as you can see, this is meant to be the 3/4 sleeve length. So what I'm finding is apparently I've got long arms. So I think if I want to make a long sleeve, obviously I'm gonna have to add quite a lot. I don't know whether it's because because of these tucks. I don't know whether I've cut it at the wrong line and then the tucks have taken more out than I needed to. Anyway, this is a kind of not an ideal length, but I was pleased with it nonetheless, because I loved the colour of the fabric. Again, this was another one from Rainbow Fabrics. This is like a tencel, viscose. It's a really lovely weight of fabric. And I was going to, this kind of came up after Jess from Sew What If I Sew was doing her annual Sew Yellow for Endo campaign. So I was like, oh, could I get it finished in time? But I think I was way off, or I think I was thinking about it and then didn't get it finished in time. But anyway, that's an annual event, so next year I can make something else, because I've got a bit of this fabric left. I can make something else for the Sew Yellow for Endo campaign next year. Anyway, I'm losing light, and so I hope you can all still see me. But I hope you enjoyed my show and tell, and I just wanted to I just wanted to kind of put out what I've been making, and also just to give myself a boost, and just to give myself a kind of show of like, this is what you've been making, and you're doing it, and you just need to keep doing it, and yeah, keep trucking, as they say. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, you might see some more of my sewing soon. All right, bye.